Messiah tanking it up. I do not believe he just believed. Lots of luck. No, you might hit that. What? I cannot understand this game. Unicorns of love. It wasn't you said. The Nexus.
Hello and welcome to the T-Force LCS Rundown, episode 153. This is your host, Motka Norum, now a man consumed by the whereabouts, mental well-being, and overall physical condition of one Richard Simmons. I found a podcast over the weekend called Missing Richard Simmons, which is a show done by a former producer of The Daily Show, where he investigates Richard Simmons and how he's been missing for the past 3 years. And oh my God, I'm just like general feedback from everybody who on the cast today, Ian, Chris, and Sean, to be joined later, hopefully by Grant and Cole. Just like overall feedback from watching like all 6 episodes published now. I know you guys kind of took a deep dive this past weekend into that.
So, I mean, my initial thoughts were a little confused because it's really interesting to see the perspective from like someone who's really heavily into the whole comedic side of a production. With someone who's coming from The Daily Show, but yet having like this sort of really research-based and sort of almost philosophical background of like the exploration of who Richard Simmons is as a person for the first 2 episodes was fantastic. Really enjoyed it. It got a little bit strange after that because I feel like they never really answered the question of where is Richard Simmons. And I'd like to say that he's wherever you want him to be.
Or he's in his Beverly Hills mansion surrounded by 6 feet of concrete that he recently built, apparently. But you're dead on, like hearing all of the stories of the people who've personally been touched by Richard Simmons' life and hearing about how he's this personable person. And then hearing that just one day he just stopped, all of that is quite the journey. But speaking of journeys, we had some crazy journeys this week. For our good LCS boys, as some tried to keep their spots in the North American LCS. Others tried for fame, glory, and of course, that always persistent Fnatic playoffs run. And hey, we're here to talk about that and not Richard Simmons, so we're going to get in now. Let's hit the North American Challenger Series promotional tournaments first this week. So we saw Team Liquid Envy from North America battle against their Challenger counterparts in Goldcoin United and E United. We haven't really talked a lot about the Challenger Series this split because there's so much to focus on with NA and EU. It's kind of hard to like break into the respective Challenger Series and give it as much credit as it's due. But the result is maybe surprising, maybe unsurprising, depending on exactly where you sit on the fence of the Challenger Series. Both Liquid and Envy continued on. Any thoughts on these series?
That doesn't mean they looked good, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, honestly, that would be a great place to stop at. Nobody in the promotion tournament looked good.
Yeah, no, not at all.
At all. They were all terrible. Everything was bad. Every series was a struggle to watch.
People will tell you Double Lift carried TL, and people will tell you Piglet carried TL. But that doesn't matter, because just because they did good for like 20 minutes doesn't mean they played well the whole fucking time.
And Piglet was hot garbage 90% of the time.
Yeah,
like,
it was really peaky
bad
for both. And I mean, that's kind of the issue that I take with the Challenger Series, is that you get teams together who have like big names on it. Centauran, Mad Life, both on Goldcoin. You've got some teams, you get some players rather from the scouting grounds that came out. You have what seems to be this like really, potentially fire of a team. And then they go up against the worst in North America and they don't make the cut. And depending on where you sit on like how the Challenger Series is formatted, like that's a lot of hype to get into and a lot of anticipation to build up just for it all to fizzle out.
It goes to show you exactly how good these bottom tier teams are when both bottom tier teams went 5 games with Gold Coin United, and Envy lost one 5-game series to Gold Coin United. I'd say Gold Coin has just as much reason to be in the LCS as both Team Liquid and Envy, but that's not how it works. We're not going to add a team just because they're good enough.
They
Right.
lost 2 series, so they're not good enough.
Yeah.
Envy
Well,
won
If
2
they
series.
can't beat
Exactly.
them, then they're not good enough.
Yeah.
The argument that I would make is that it's a flawed perspective to take on good enough, because that would assume that both teams got an equal amount of time in practice. Like Envy got to play in the LCS. If you take a snapshot at like the lifespan of a split, because with a new split comes a new meta, it might bring new roster swaps. So if you kind of look in this vacuum of, let's take a look at Gold Coin week 1 and then Envy week 1, and then just take that snapshot of the 9 weeks of the LCS, whatever happens in the Challenger Series, and then when they meet in the promotion tournament, Envy gets to play a lot more against a lot better talent and like gets to exist in that sort of environment, and then go up against Gold Coin that gets, I don't know what exactly the numbers are, but not as much play time, not as much support structure behind it. It seems a little lopsided.
And then Envy almost still gets relegated from all that.
Right. And like, I talked a lot in the Discord channel today with a bunch of different people who had really good ideas about the Challenger Series in different ways that they saw it, which were much different from mine. And I think this is a conversation that like we can take further down the line, because 1, it's a lot to cover. 2, there's a lot of data you need to back it up. And 3, we didn't really prepare for it ahead of time because we don't talk about the Challenger Series all that much. So this is something we're going to put in like kind of a mailbag style episode that we'll get to at some point, and really break down the Challenger Series and the idea of franchising and all of the things that come with that. But much more exciting is to talk about EU, as we did have their last week of the LCS, and now we have our perfect playoff picture. So
You know what's not so
playoffs-
perfect though?
What's that?
G2's record.
Oh yeah,
that's
kind of
right.
exciting to talk about. Isn't
They
it?
went down hard.
to ROCCAT, no less.
Oh yeah,
They
ROCCAT
went
looked
down
so
harder.
goddamn good versus G2, and
Not
I'm
gonna do
so
it. Not
sad they aren't in playoffs. I am actually fucking heartbroken over that.
Yeah,
Consistency
it sucks to
is
have your shoes be put in another team,
Yeah,
or to the fact that they did everything they possibly could to be ahead of Fnatic. They just had to hope Fnatic lost.
Hey, guess what? They did everything they could except for perform in the first 7 weeks of the LCS. I'm just saying. Like,
yeah, if they would have started playing well earlier, then this wouldn't have been a question.
absolutely.
But it's always fun to see that team that really gets hot right at the end of the split go right into playoffs, because you want to see if how far they're gonna take that streak.
Right. It's tough. Like it obviously ROCCAT's not a part of the playoffs, as we've kind of alluded to here. Fnatic was able to pull it out and beat Misfits, and what I would say is a pretty big upset, not only for ROCCAT, but also for Misfits, who didn't really lose anything by losing to Fnatic, but like going into playoffs, it's a team you've been. I actually don't know if they have their matchups overall, but it's a team that a lot of other teams in the LCS have been able to beat pretty handily. Definitely has not been the best split for Fnatic, and you lose to them right at the end in series where you have been kind of losing a lot. And they did actually beat them before. I've looked back now in week 3. They did manage to win. So at least for me, it does call some question into the abilities of Misfits. But we can talk about that matchup because it's the first one of the playoffs. Quarterfinals, Misfits versus Splice, H2K versus Fnatic, El Clasico, I think.
I do before we move on to this, I do want to say though, if there is one series that like you didn't get to watch any of the games this week. If there's one series that you should watch, it's definitely the G2 Misfits, the G2 ROCCAT series. ROCCAT had some of the cleanest team fighting I've ever seen in League of Legends, like, period. They executed their team fights, like, to a fucking point and just absolutely dismantled G2. It was incredible to watch.
Some really fun picks too by Betsy.
Oh yeah,
getting his Swain and then playing mid Nasus game 1.
Yeah, it was a really, really fun series to watch. Absolutely recommend it. That's my personally, like, you need to go watch this series if you didn't watch it. So we like, I just wanted to say that you should watch that series.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I agree 100%. It was a fun series.
Let's talk Misfits versus Splice. It's our first matchup. We've already kind of talked about Misfits' shakiness or unshakiness. We're just going to go straight around the horn and get, I just want like point blank predictions from all of you, and then we'll go into discussion. We'll start off with Ian.
Okay, so then 3-2 Misfits. 3-2 Misfits.
What, like, Splice has been on the up. What aren't you seeing out of them that you are seeing in Misfits?
I mean, Misfits as a whole, yes, they've been on the, like, kind of on the decline, but they've proven throughout the regular season that they're still a very top-tier team and that they are a team that has consistently been better than Splice. And so I think that just their consistency, to me, just says that they're the team that should win. Like, I'm just going kind of by the numbers on this one.
All right. Chris, what do you got?
3-2 Splice. That'll be close.
What's the Splice boys got for you?
Dude.
Give me this snake. Give me those hot snakes.
Well, they
I don't
have
know.
hot
Well,
Splice. They have
terrible.
sporty
It-
Splice.
It depends on. Yeah, it also does depend on which Splice we're gonna see. Because I mean, if they get to a playoffs run and they take it really seriously, then they might be able to do well. But who knows? Who knows? So I don't know. Because like Misfits, we'll see what they end up doing in their first playoffs. That's why I just wanted to at least go Splice, because they have been able to do well in playoffs before. Versus Misfits is, like you said, been a little shaky. So we'll see. It'll be a good series regardless. Like that could easily be Misfits. It's not something I'm like, Splice will definitely take this. So
Can
you
I
know, it could definitely go
petition?
either way.
Can I petition real quick for an off-season episode where we decide which Splice boy each of the Splice team members is?
I'm actually very confused because when you look at Splice's roster on LOL Esports, one of
They all look
their
the same?
subs
Oh.
has
It's Gripex.
a hand-drawn picture.
Oh no, that's Misfits.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Misfits.
Yeah.
What the hell? That's Hiva.
Yeah, he has a hand-drawn picture of himself as his player profile.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
His biography is also in French.
Yep. Maybe that's like a...
Full French.
He had to be that one guy.
Yeah. I think it's a
support de nouveau challenger. C'est un roi qui
European...
bien.
The European LOL Esports is a different website altogether. Like if you change your language filter. And it actually looks, in my opinion, a lot better. So maybe it's something from that. But Cole, who do you got in this series?
I got 3-2 Misfits.
Ooh.
Yes,
So
yes,
we're
yes.
two in the favor of Misfits, one in the favor of Splice. So like Misfits has been on the down recently. What saving grace do you see them having over Splice?
I think it's going to be Cacao versus Trashy. And while Trashy has looked like the old Trashy where he's a counter gank machine, enabling his lanes to safely scale into the mid-late game, I think that Cacao is just going to out-jungle him and just overpower him. And then I think Misfits will roll there. It's going to be really centered through Cacao. Now, I could be wrong. It could go 3-2 Splice, but it depends on how well Cacao performs in playoffs. but I think he won't get shaky until semifinals when he starts facing those better teams in like H2K and G2 and UOL and them.
I'm gonna go. I'm really as much as I loved the troll games from Splice against H2K, I would have loved to have seen them take it full seriously and see just how good Splice is looking against a top of the table team. Because if they had played like a really close series to H2K, I would have been more in favor of giving it to Splice. But they trolled around, and I don't have enough like evidence that they're really I know they're on the up, but they're not looking. I don't know how good they're looking. So I'm gonna give it to Misfits in a 3-2.
See, I penned you for Splice, and I would like to say about that series, I don't see where the people getting ready to take down the Splice banners because they didn't try in a series that didn't
I'm
matter.
completely okay with them not trying. The only thing that that game was fun to watch. The interview afterwards with Yankos and Prawley was super entertaining. I enjoyed watching that whole series, but in like a raw data kind of thing, I can't like say how good Splice is looking right now.
Yeah, I think we've seen moments of stress gotten to other teams that has kind of caused some small collapses that have allowed Splice to look better in these past couple of weeks. And I don't particularly know if that's going to carry through. Take us home. We've got 3 now in the favor of Misfits and just 1 in Splice. Chris is the only one with a Splice hole? Because someone had to? Classic Chris?
That doesn't add up, though. We have...
It's not a
It's 3 and 1.
Mott hasn't said
I haven't
his.
said mine.
Mott hasn't said his indefinite.
Sean, what do you got?
Oh, yeah, Sean
There's still
hasn't
2
won
people
yet.
that have.
So I went through the schedule, and because people are saying, Misfits is on the downturn. Here's what happened. Week 8, they lost to G2, and I think most of us watched that series, and it was damn good. And G2 was dominant. Then week 9, they lost to ROCCAT, which, as we all know, is the best actual team in Europe. So they lost to the best team in Europe 2 weeks in a row, right? And then week 10, they lost to Fnatic when they didn't have anything to play for. So I don't really see a downturn, to be honest. The ROCCAT loss was weird. They also lost to H2K, which is a little odd. So they have lost 4 of the last 5 games. So you could say there's a downturn. However, Splice has yet to defeat a team in the top 4 at all. Top 2 in either region. So it's hard for me to say that they would. They had 1 chance, and that was last week, and they chose to just, have some fun with it instead of actually trying. So I really don't know. I want Splice to win. I like Splice. It's fun to cover them. I think they've got some great ideas and good overall talent, but I just think Misfits is going to be too strong, even though they don't have the experience at the best of 5 level that Splice does. So I think we're going to see 3-1 Misfits.
All right. Now, we'll talk about how it matches up, when we get to quarterfinals, because one of these teams will advance to the semifinals, rather, and they're going to either have to face off against UOL or G2, 2 teams who have been looking significantly dominant throughout the entire split. UOL only faltering a little bit, and G2 only getting to falter in their last series. But I'd say this is probably a good point just to cover once again, because re-listening to last week's audio, I don't think I did a very good job of explaining exactly how the EU promo, or how the EU reseeding works when we go from quarters to semis. So I'll take another stab at it. Basically, whichever the teams that leave to quarterfinals will face their opposing group. So if somebody from Group A comes out, they'll face off against somebody from Group B, unless some 2 teams from the same group escape together. So, for instance, if Misfits and Fnatic both win, they're both within the same group. You obviously can't split that up because somebody's going to have to face off against G2. The team that's going to face off against that is going to be the second seed. The second seed will have to face the first seed from the other group. So I have kind of a couple of demonstrations of how this would exactly play out. So if Misfits and Fnatic make it out into quarter or semifinals, Misfits would play Unicorns of Love because they're the second seed and they're playing the first seed of the other group. And Fnatic would go on to play G2 because they're the third seed and they'd be playing against, they're within their group because they can't play any other teams in the other group. If it's Misfits and Unicorns of Love, Misfits would be facing off against... if it's Misfits and H2K, Misfits would be still facing off against Unicorns of Love, and they'd be playing up against... G2 would be playing H2K. So it does get a little convoluted as we kind of move from group to group, but it's going to be much easier once we have the entire picture after this week's events. Speaking of those week's events, yeah, thank you so much for making me explain that twice. I think I actually might have cut it out of last week's episode. I can't really remember. I just put all memories of previous episodes into a little recycle bin on Wednesday and click delete. Let's talk H2K versus Fnatic. And I'm actually going to start out with this one. Some cast members may be upset at the fact that Fnatic made it over certain other teams of a ROCCAT persuasion.
I'm salty.
And I do want to say that I am
What
still...
the fuck was that?
That was cool.
Cole's upset because Europe is going to build a ROCCAT statue made out of solid gold in the EU battle arena for beating
Cole's
G2.
upset because 2 sports in a row he had planned a statue built for the team.
I'm
And
not
in the
even a
third
Falcons
quarter,
fan. I am a
completely
Panthers fan.
eliminated.
I want to go on the record as I am a Carolina Panthers fan. Just because I live in the city of Atlanta does not mean I rep the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, I am upset that ROCCAT did not make playoffs because Fnatic did not deserve it, but we're going to let Mott continue with his...
Well, they won
The
enough
Falcons
games
are
to
just
deserve
like
it.
the infrastructure of Atlanta. It burns up at the last minute.
Oh, and then it
Your
Making
collapses.
from the bridge, having a crackhead light our bridge on fire is not funny. For context, for people out there that don't know, they got the guy in custody, and he said that his plan was to smoke the crack with someone else, but the guy didn't show up, so he smoked it all himself, got super crazy high, and another person, Mr. Thomas, who was a witness, said that he saw him grab a grocery cart, put a chair in it, light the chair on fire, and it happened to be near some PVC piping with fiber optics in it.
Amazing.
And that's how our bridge burned down.
Yeah, I actually want to start off the discussion on HGK and Fnatic because I believe with all of my soul that Fnatic made it to playoffs, which was foretold. It's a Riot contract that they're there every single time, and they will at least make it to quarterfinals. I think they've got this attitude coming into this where it was like, holy shit, we defied all expectations. We took an absolute garbage split and turned it into an actual playoffs run. We've got it. This is our time once more. Reckless can maybe not tilt off the face of the earth, and we can potentially have a go at a pretty solid series. I think this will go to the full set of 5 games, but I see Fnatic winning this on passion for League of Legends alone. And I still want to believe
I
there are
don't think
players
that's
out there
how
who
that
will.
works at all.
All right, Sean.
talking
So I
about
imagine
Reckless,
you'll
it
give
kinda
an
is.
H2K.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick H2K, and I don't think that it's much of a brain takes much brain power to figure that one out.
Give me some context to it. What's working about H2K? Where are
Fnatic
they?
squeaked in by like
Everything.
the skin of their ball sack. Like they were being dragged behind this rocket that was barreling down the freeway, and their pants were being burned off by the friction created between it and the ground. And it got to the point where their pants and boxers had actually disappeared and disintegrated, and just their scrotum, or in this case multiple scroti, were just tingling, and the hairs were singeing
Sean, what the
on
fuck?
the freeway. But suddenly that rocket hit a wall and launched Fnatic, flaming ball sack and all, into the playoffs. And they are not going to go far before they hit the ground.
So that's how the
splatter
highway caught on
everywhere.
fire.
Exactly. I just took everything that we were talking about before and turned it into something else.
Not a crackhead, but a rocket.
So I will give it to you that HGK did 2-0 Fnatic in their only other meeting. So I guess this is the hype train that we get, that Europe has manufactured for us, where we get to talk about how we've only seen them play once and H2K swept the series. Can they do it again, or can Fnatic redeem themselves?
I can guarantee they can do it again.
H2K is going to 3-0 this.
They should.
Grant, are you going to give any
They
games to
fucking
Fnatic?
better.
Fuck no.
None. A full 3-0 sweep.
Fnatic is a shit team with shit players. I
wanna
don't even know if they
okay.
have a coach now. I don't know who the fuck their coach is anymore.
Their coach is
They got
their
rid
old
of.
general manager, Quay.
Oh, great! They got rid of Nico the Pico, replaced with someone who doesn't even know how to play League of Legends. Like,
So
fuck.
you want to know? This is how H2K is going to win the series. I'll tell you right now. It's real easy. If they
Ziggs
don't
bottom.
do this, then
They're gonna sub in Prawley, and they're gonna play
all
Ziggs
they're-
bottom.
all they're going to do is ban fucking Kennen. Because Reckless has showed he can't play any other AD carries proficiently except for fucking Kennen.
When your only ADC
and I'm
can
pretty
play
sure
is Kennen. That's fucking
right?
sad.
I'm pretty sure Prawley's just gonna look at that and be like, all right, we ban Kennen first, or like, we ban Kennen,
Well,
and then we'll pick normal and we'll win the fucking series.
I don't know about the only one he can play, but it's the only one he can carry them on solo on his back. It's the only one he can just solo carry. The
He can
entire
he
It's a
can
pocket
play
pick.
everything.
It's great.
But yeah,
Somehow
it
he
changes
doesn't.
the game.
He only seems to, he only seems to like win lane enough on Kennen. He's been dying in lane pretty regularly. Like, it's just, nothing's looked impressive except for when he plays Kennen. Then it's just like, fuck.
Same.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that H2K should 3-0 this. I think there's a possibility it's a 3-1 just because H2K might give them Kennen for some reason or something like that. But honestly, H2K just does everything Fnatic does, but just like well. Like,
Chris.
It's gonna be. Oh, Chris, go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
What? Sorry, what was the question? Exactly in that.
God.
Well, sorry, well, you guys were all talking. I think you had a point.
Don't edit that out. Keep that in.
There's so many fucking rants. Sometimes I get lost of where we are in all of this. Are we talking about the freeway catching
HTK
on
versus
fire?
Fnatic.
Oh, so we are talking about the
versus
freeway catching on fire
HTK
still. All right, good. No, H2K.
We're not going to ask for your
agree.
opinion of the freeway on fire, man.
Oh yeah,
You live in
okay,
Washington.
Well,
Do you guys
well,
even have
Fnatic in
freeways?
this case is the freeway on fire. Howbeit
Barely.
a passionate fire, it is the freeway that is on fire. No, I don't think. Like, I do really like Fnatic. I like Fnatic a lot more than I like H2K. Sorry, Grant, but I don't think that Fnatic at all has the capability of really beating H2K. The only thing really is it if they somehow are really able to pull it all together for playoffs and Reckless just goes absolutely crazy, pulls out his inner deft. But I highly doubt it, and I definitely think H2K is the actual stronger team and the team that does deserve to take the playoff win too.
I just want to point out that Deft could really start looking for his own inner Deft right now. It's been pretty rough over in Korea.
Both Reckless and Deft should be looking for their inner Deft.
All right. What do you got, Cole?
Yeah, it's going to be a 3-0. Fnatic were lucky to get in, and literally, it was just because Fnatic's draft outside of the Kennen looked pretty bad. It was just that Misfits really didn't care about the game, and that's the only reason they won that series. It sucks for ROCCAT, but that's just how it went. And I think H2K is going to actually give Reckless his Kennen, and Jankos is going to get first blood on it, and he's going to get first blood every single game. And from there, it's going to be a stomp. And he might even teabag some bodies on his way there. You know, I
So-
expected you might just do it.
So here's the wager I offer to all 5 of you and Blake
Oh,
if he
shit.
wants to take me out.
What's this?
So if Fnatic loses this, you will be granted a skin from me, a random skin. But for every game that Fnatic wins, I am paid 1 skin. So you get a game
Every
to
game?
you.
That's
you
no,
get
that's a terrible
guaranteed
deal.
Skin.
What the hell?
No, you get a guaranteed skin. For those, Ian, you gave Fnatic a game, so for you it's a 1-1. It doesn't make sense. But for Grant, Chris, and Sean, maybe even Cole, who are saying, nope, 3-0, easy life, you're just getting a free skin. So do you take the
so
wage?
you get potentially 9
I'm
free
literally
skins to
not gonna
R1
bet
each.
anything.
Wait, so
on
since I said
European
I said
teams.
3-1, if they win a game, I don't owe you a skin.
No,
You
well,
don't get anything.
we could gift each other skins. Like, that could be
No, Ian, here's how this is going to go. You'll go 1-1, so you don't get anything. If he predicts all of them right or whatever, he gets at least 3 skins from all of us. So that's 9 skins to him, while we all would only get 1 skin each if we win.
It's
That's
payment
BS.
for the
I'm not
faith.
taking that
CLG
deal.
will never pay you in their golden age, but I will be
I'm
paid in
not
skins.
taking that deal, Mott. That is crap, and you know it.
I don't know.
That's
So
a
Grant,
shit deal,
Grant-
and I
Grant and
refuse
Sean, no,
to
hold
bet
on,
anything.
Hold on. This is H2K Fnatic we're talking about here, Sean. This is
So?
an easy 3-0. They already 2-0'd them. Where's the?
But you're not
where's the
guaranteeing
risk?
that for each game that
No.
H2K wins, we get a skin each. You're guaranteeing that for if we predict the 3-0 right, we all get a skin. But
The odds are stacked against us.
Any wins, you get a skin
Yeah,
per
this
win.
is like
That's-
going
no.
to Vegas and reading the odds on the wall and being like, oh yeah, I could do that. Whatever. Fuck that shit.
So you're not willing to back your
No,
faith.
I won't
I
fall for your traps
refuse
and
to
lies.
bet anything on a European
Not-
team ever.
The funny thing is,
Fuck
the
Europe.
funny thing is that individually, yes, it's an unbalance. But the fact that I'm giving you all 5 an option, not a single one of you would be putting in the same amount of investment that I would be putting in.
Yeah, but I don't
get it.
care about that. I care
Now,
about
what I will,
your
what I
potentially
money-
will
have to
bet you,
your-
say.
Mott,
your
Mott,
money to
I
my
will
money.
bet you
Your money to my
Mott, I
money.
will
If you
bet
work as a
you
group, I
that
put up more.
I bet that one of these games, Kennen will be played by Reckless, and I bet you that Yankos will get first blood on his Kennen.
No, I don't. The Yankos
will
is the
take
first
that
blood
bet.
king. I'm not going to take that.
But that doesn't
Wow,
guarantee he'll
that's
get
got
first
better
blood.
odds than anything else,
Because that doesn't
apparently.
guarantee he'll get first blood on Kennen.
Ooh, that is. All right, I'll take
Yeah.
that. I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah,
bet.
that's the
If-
specific thing.
Not only, hold on. Are we going to take the first game that he does it, or every game that he does it? Every game.
No, not every
He's
game.
not gonna get
If he
Kennen
does
every
it any
game.
game,
well, if
it
he
has
does it
to
on
happen.
2 games and he does it in one and doesn't do it on the other, are we just going to like call it even or what?
he just has to do it. I'm not betting multiple skins, just one skin. He just has to do it in one
In
of the
the
games. He gets first blood
series-
on Rex's Kennen.
In the series,
but if he
Reckless will
plays
play
it, say
Kennen.
if he plays it in, like, let's say there's 5 games, he plays it in all 5 games, and all you need is one of those to do it. That's a pretty
Yeah, you
shit.
gotta
like,
depend
that's-
on him, man. You gotta have faith, don't you? I thought you had to have faith,
Okay,
Mott.
I'll take that bet. I'll take that bet.
Yes,
if
you're welcome,
somebody
Cole.
meets me on my bet for the 3-0. What do you
No one's
say,
gonna meet
Grant?
you on that
What do you
'cause
say? Hold on, what do you say, Grant? You've been awful quiet over there in your corner.
So, Mott, I would take this
Yes,
bet, but I'm broke as fuck. So if they lose
It's
three,
like,
if
we
they
have
lose
no
this
money.
series, you're not getting anything.
I mean,
because I don't have the money
I'm
to
just
give you that
saying the
many
math
skins.
doesn't even add up here, because if we win,
I
we
could
only
give
get one
you-
skin each. If you
if
win, you
Fnatic-
get 9 skins.
yes.
If Fnatic wins one game, I could give you. I could do the trade in skins, but I'm gonna take this bet with you, Mike.
All right. No, that's fair. That's fair, Grant. I will take it. I will take.
But I will take the bet.
I will take one win, one fight, and we'll extend that to anybody else. We'll even, since you're all not that sure about the matchup, we'll just take it where if Fnatic wins one game, I get a skin. If they win, if HGK wins the series, we just trade skins. So Grant's
Wait,
taking
so
me
Eight
on that.
skins?
So we
Well,
trade-
we just-
so
yeah,
we
sorry.
still have to give you a skin no matter what.
No, I misspoke.
That's
So if H2K wins you get a skin. If Fnatic wins at least one game, I get a skin. Ian, doesn't make sense for you because you already gave one to Fnatic. Cole, I'm pretty sure it doesn't make sense for you because
that'd
one,
be a
we already have
terrible
a
thing
bet,
for me
and
to
two,
go for.
you already, I think, gave one game. But Sean, Grant's already. This is a blood oath now.
No, I gave the 3-0, but I want to make sure the rules are clear. So if Fnatic wins a game, you get a skin. If they don't, then we get a skin.
No, if H2K wins point blank, if they win the series, you get a skin. If Fnatic wins one game, I get a skin.
I guess I'll take that bet on top of our other bet.
So we got two bets going. God, I'm gonna have to cut pretty much this entire segment out.
Yeah, I was about to ask. I was like, are you gonna cut that or no?
Most of it, I think.
I think you should leave it so they can hear our negotiations.
Yeah, our negotiations.
Do you know how
We need
bored people
audio
would-
evidence for other fans. We need the fans to hear this so that we have audio evidence.
We
All
keep
I know
our
is that
sound
Sean's
files, don't
too
we?
scared.
Do we not? Like, do you guys delete your sound files?
No, I have
Like the
backups
week
of everything.
after.
Yeah, we
Probably
can go
like
in the
100
backups and hear
episodes
it.
deep. I'm not gonna like screw you guys out of it.
Yeah, what the
Like,
fuck? Why would he screw? What do you,
want
he's gonna scam you out of the scam?
$20, probably.
I want insurance. I want a policy.
He wants bamboozle insurance.
So, so let's bring it.
You just gotta
bring it
upvote this
to-
picture. Hold on, let me find it.
Let's bring it to the real question. And to me, that is, are any of these four teams that we've discussed here today capable of taking a matchup against either Unicorns of Love or G2?
H2K.
G2 can lose to ROCCAT. They can be by anybody.
What?
What?
ROCCAT was the best team in Europe. What are you talking about?
I mean, they honestly looked like it.
I don't know.
They looked like it. That,
It's not
like,
saying much, but you're not wrong.
I'm just saying that's not a loss you want going into the playoffs to lose to ROCCAT. That's not a loss you want going in. Thankfully, I think they've had at least 2 or 3 weeks to reset after it, but still, it's not a good look. Anyone can beat them, but
They won't have
it's
any.
still
They
like
won't
a
have any
5%
weeks to
chance.
reset. The playoffs start this weekend, so they get a week.
Well,
I think.
because they did just play them last week, didn't they? Yeah, so that's not a good look going into playoffs. Yep. But they might. It all depends. G2 has been known to tilt a little bit after losing games, so
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, the other end of that, they do have Weldon, who's a pretty big factor in all of this. I think we we never really touched upon that because the presence wasn't as well felt as when he was in TSM. They also didn't really lose, so we couldn't really talk too much about how they adapted to series. But the benefit that G2 will have is they're going to know who their opponent is going in, and they've got a lot of time to prepare for that. And typically, better teams, more preparation, it's going to be better for them in the long run. So H2K is the only tangible team I've heard, other than all of them, that can manage to peel games off either UOL or H2K. Any other faith for Misfits, Splice, or Fnatic?
like I said last week, I think if Misfits gets UOL, they can beat them. That's the only team, though.
All right. Well, it's going to be interesting to see. We
It'll be a doozy.
we're going to obviously have those matchups next week. So we'll be discussing quarterfinals and then taking a look at semis and having a deeper discussion about finals. But we can also kind of briefly take a look at the... actually, I don't even fucking want to talk about Challenger Series. We have Challenger promo tournaments coming up. Misfits Academy and Fnatic Academy, I think, are going up against our two
Fnatic Academy against Giants
sacrifices.
and Misfits against Origin for the first two games.
Yeah.
Does anyone see any point in talking about this? I mean,
Nope.
we know...
Yes!
Actually,
Origin might be gone. The
this-
great evil might be defeated.
Well, I mean,
This is
Great
actually
evil?
a pretty big...
Sean, please.
This is going to be a pretty big deal, I think,
The
because
scourge.
we're going to see first of all, we have two teams in Yellow Stars soccer esports
Paris
team,
Saint-Germain.
Paris Saint-Germain.
PSG.
and Schalke, who had all this hype. Schalke was like unbeatable for a while.
They shit
You
the
come
bed.
in, then they shit the bed at the end. So now we're having two teams who, by the way, can't even enter into the LCS without being sold first. Whichever team beats Origin if a team beats Origin, they're going to have to sell their spot. So are we going to see a pay to win in Europe where it's like, well, we didn't even get to participate in the promotion tournament, but we are going to just, here's a little check, making it out to either Fnatic or Misfits. Congratulations, you just bought yourself an LCS spot for the summer at least.
I mean, because we know they look good enough to be in LCS as far as being at least in the 4 through 6 spots of each of the divisions. I mean, but yeah, let me finish. Oh yeah, so Misfits Academy and Fnatic Academy obviously probably had access to scrim the LCS teams, Misfits and Fnatic. So of course they'd probably look better than Schalke and Paris Saint Germain, who knows who they had access to scrimming. I think both the teams would look very good.
At least Misfits too, the organization as a whole, they already went through the Challenger Series. They know the challenges. They know the pitfalls. They can help mentally bring the players to a point where they could potentially take out a team like Origin. And like Origin is kind of the team to beat in all of this. Or the team to beat. The team we expect to be beaten in all of this. Because they didn't win a single LCS game throughout the whole split. So we're going to have to see whether they pull an Envy and actually show up enough to not get kicked out, or whether we can finally put XPeke to bed and let him.
Because I'm pretty sure Envy players actually cared whether they got relegated or not. Origin players like really.
Envy also had the best jungler in the NALCS.
Origin
has
XPeke looks like
Nahud.
he's ready to. He looks like he's ready. He's like this was a bad idea starting this team. Yeah, we went to Worlds one time, but this agony is too much to bear. He just wants to get it all over with. And then Giants, I don't think they're good enough to beat Fnatic Academy or whoever they're playing. I think we'll see 2 new teams because Paris Saint Germain and Schalke will probably just buy their way back in, and we'll see Vander back in the league. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun time.
So basically, Origin's gonna get into the game, type open mid, and just sit in their fountain.
Yeah. Expect they might type open mid and then walk off stage, go get a drink backstage, flirt with Shocks, you know.
What's actually going to happen is Origin's going to go on a tear, not lose a single series, get instantly back into the LCS.
Oh my god, don't do this
and
to
then
me, man.
immediately
I
sell
had
their
a
spot
great
to
hard
Yellow
on.
Star.
I had
Oh,
such a good hard on.
Please no more Yellow Star.
I mean, either way,
Just
they're
can't.
gone.
Yeah.
And then this whole sister team crap will be over, and we'll be back to. Because I like the way NACS does it, where there's no sister. Well, there could be, but they didn't qualify. But either way, they can't participate in the promotion tournament. So you
both of
always
those
guarantee
rules,
to at least have a chance.
Europe's getting that rule set as well. Both of those don't take effect until the summer, which is why we aren't seeing this.
So for NA, it was just quite literally because no sister teams qualified.
Correct. I have a big beef with the way that the Challenger Series works, and we're going to get to it at a later point.
Like I said, do we have more than one sister team try and qualify for CS, or was it just CLG Black? I don't remember hearing about
I
any
want to
other.
say that it was just
specifically?
CLG.
The only sister team, because Cloud9 didn't have their team anymore.
Right.
TSM
No,
was,
Echo
I
Fox.
think that was.
Echo Fox had Delta
Yeah,
Fox,
Delta
who made a
Fox.
run for it, but
Yeah.
didn't make it.
Yeah, that's right.
No, Delta Fox made it. They're in.
They did not go to the
They just
promotion
didn't make it to
tournament.
promo tournament. Yeah, they just didn't go to promo.
Yeah.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is they went for it, but didn't get
All
there.
They
and,
existed.
Like, that's probably another thing we'll review in the bigger episode, but the gist of that rule change is that if there is a sister team, first of all, they're allowed to participate and win money, but they are not allowed to go into the promotion tournament. So basically, they get to go as far as that and then drop off, and the team next below in the seeding gets to take their spot, which hurts the CS League tremendously. So we'll talk about that more in depth at some point, maybe, probably, I doubt it. But much more exciting news. We have an upcoming event.
Exciting news
here at the LCS Rundown. It's probably going to take the date is tentative because we have to get everybody together and get hyped up for it.
Oh no!
But we have coming up a tournament of epic proportions. It is going to be a historic 1v1 tournament for all current 7 7 of us? 7 members of the LCS rundown. 1v1, ARAM, round robin to a best of 3 quarter, semi, and finals. And it is going to be casted by former members of the show, Mitch and Santana. Mitch hasn't agreed yet, but this is his official stamp of a contract. He will be casting that game. It's going to be lit. It's going to be great. It is going to be streamed. It is going to be on YouTube. It is going to be everything you want and more out of life and a lover. It's going to be on. What is the
I'm
name
already
of
gonna
such?
say I'm gonna win.
I
so
mean,
it's okay.
Mott, you should really stop hyping stuff up too much because then it's just so much.
I mean,
worse
I'm
when
just
people
gonna
are
let the
disappointed.
viewers know that I'm gonna win. So
Them be
It's
fighting
whatever.
words, boy.
Yes.
It's a good joke. Good
So
joke, Cole.
get yourself
I
ready.
mean, remember when we played that 3v3 and I was the only one that had a positive KDA and
On
good
the team
gold
that
in
lost?
LCS?
You
Hey, but
remember
I was
when
the
I
one who
played
was the only one
Ari
doing well.
and did the most
that
damage
was
in the
fun.
game?
And when I played
I mean, you're an
Warwick, it didn't
assassin,
die.
dude. I was
ever.
Graves. What am I supposed to do? I was trying to carry a Warwick, and I don't even remember what my other teammate played. It's
All
whatever.
of this trash talk and more will be yours to behold when the LCS Rundown Showdown Generations Fates comes to a YouTube near you. So that's where it comes. We're pretty excited. When that comes, we're going to be pretty excited. Other cool stuff that came out this week that we don't have any information on is that there are going to be local esports tournaments, semi-pro. It's going to be pretty cool, and more info for that to come. We'll see you next week when we're talking actual playoffs for North America.
Yay.
4 games to run down.
Goodbye.
4 best of 5 series. Bye-bye.
Have a beautiful time.
Stop.
Hammer time. Bam, bam,